I'm Tristan Dave Tiamog from MT1C, and today we will talk about the history of Aguinaldo Shrine. So first, let us talk about the remarkable person who lives in Aguinaldo Shrine, Aguinaldo himself. So Emilio Aguinaldo, E. USC, CCLH, is a very talented person. So, first, he is a Filipino revolutionary. 2, he is a statesman. 3, and the military leader. So, he is officially recognized as the first and the youngest president of the Philippines. So, and the first president of a constitutional republic in Asia. So, Emilio Aguinaldo is declared as president when he was just 29 years old. So, 1 month before he's turning 30. So, on January 1, 1899, it is the declaration of his being president of the Philippines, which is very impressive because he is the youngest president of the Philippines back then. And then, he was born on March 22, 1869, which is in also Kawit, Cavite, where the Aguinaldo Shrine can be seen. So, he died on February 6, 1964 in Quezon City. So, the Emilio Aguinaldo House in Kawit, or also known as Aguinaldo Shrine, it is the site of the proclamation of the Philippine independence. That's why it is very important to our history, because this is where the Philippine independence were proclaimed by us Filipinos to the help of the Americans. So the shrine is the ancestral home of Emilio Aguinaldo. So today, it is maintained by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines. So they preserve the Emilio Aguinaldo House as the museum in honor of President Aguinaldo. So which is now known as the Aguinaldo Shrine. So, it is dubbed as the House of History because it has so many important scenes where the historical places were played. And the Aguinaldo Mansion is the locus of a focal point in the unfolding of Philippine history. So, back then, the Aguinaldo Mansion was constructed in 1845. So, the original structure of the house was the nipa and the thatch material only. So, it was reconstructed 4 years later using a variety of Philippine hardwood. So, by the 1920s, it has a big renovation so that the house can be good as seen as in historical places. So, they renovate the tower and the symbolic balcony of the house. So they renovate it because the balcony is the most important part of the house, because this is where the proclamation of the Philippine independence happened in the balcony. So it was also during this period that the house was refurbished with architectural details of nationalistic themes, Masonic symbols, and Art Nouveau and Art Deco's artistic style. So, it is prevalent during the early 20th century. The house where the president lived was donated to the Filipinos in 1963, before Emilio Aguinaldo died. So, the house was placed under the care of the National Museum of the Philippines. And now, it is declared as the National Shrine. So, it was declared through Republic Act number 4039 by the 1972 Executive Order number 370. So, transferred the shrine under the care and maintenance of the National Historical Commission. So, today, the house continues to emanate the vision of free and proud nation. As it perpetuates the ideas and of the 1896 Revolution and 1898 Proclamation of the Philippine Independence. So, this house, the Aguinaldo Mansion, also known now as the Aguinaldo Shrine, is very important to the Philippine history because this is where these two important things that happened. First, the revolution. This revolution happened in the National Aguinaldo Shrine, and it was in 1896. So the second one is the most very important part of the Philippine history, which is the proclamation of the Philippine independence. So these two important things happened in the Aguinaldo Shrine. That's why Aguinaldo Shrine is preserved up to till this day, 2022, because it is the most important history in the Philippines. So there are actually 6 things you need to know about the Aguinaldo Shrine. So first, or the number one, it was first and foremost an ancestral home. So before it became a national history, it was just a home, an ancestral home. So the multi-level structure includes a mezzanine tower and spans 14,000 square feet. So it is so big that today the ground floor serves as the museum and has the historical facts. So the tomb of Aguinaldo lies in a garden behind the house, and this is the part where the museum, which is on the first floor of the house, have the most details that happened before or in the history back then. So number 2, the home reflects a luxurious lifestyle and a patriotic spirit. It can be said that Aguinaldo lived on a life of comfort. In fact, he belonged to the ruling class and his parents were of Chinese and Tagalog descent. So the love for the country was also seen in the house of Aguinaldo, because it also has evident in the symbols that adorn the ceilings. So the ceiling of Aguinaldo Shrine, it has the 8th-rayed sun, which stands for the revolt of the 8 provinces. You can see it in the Philippine flag. So a relief map of the Philippines and the rolled up flags and the dove, said to represent Aguinaldo's desire for the Philippines to be recognized as the member of the League of Nations. So number 3, just like I said earlier, the most famous featured is the balcony. So a little fact, back then there was actually no balcony in 1898. So the flag was waved from windows in the living room. As a lawyer named Ambrosio Rianzares Bautista read the Act of Declaration of the Independence and the national anthem was played, the balcony was only added in 1919 to mark the side declaration of the Philippines, or the Declaration of the Independence of the Philippines. So they only added the balcony when it was in the 1919. So to mark that it is the very important part of the house, because this is where the Declaration of Independence happened. So our number 4, it is a house of many secrets. This is why the house is very important, because of these secrets that made Philippines or made this Cavite unique from any other historical facts. Because number 1, you can see the secret compartments and passageways. That is some attributes to Aguinaldo's military training. So hence the fixation on always having a plan B should the enemies attack. So that's why he built those secret compartments and passageways. So when the enemies come to attack them, they can go out easily. And number 2, some chairs and cabinets have secret compartments too. This is where they hide their important documents and even weapons. So that is the very unique part of this house, because it has so many secrets that the other house that doesn't have. So the hot rock leads to a secret passageway from the turn around. And in the middle of the mansion, it is a bomb shelter, which is very unique. So accessible passage from underneath is in the table dining area. So in the bomb shelter, you can access the passage underneath those table in the dining area. And although there is no documentary evidence to prove it, it is believed that the bomb shelter leads outside into the nearby church. And that was very unique. Its main hall served as the presidential office. So that is the number 5. And the main hall in the house was where Aguinaldo made important decision as a president. So it is separate from the family building on the east by a turret or tower at the center. So the watchtower said to be a favorite viewing of the spot of the young president. And now number 6, the house is now part of the Freedom Park. So the Freedom Park was created in time for the centennial celebration in 1988. It used to be a busy street that fronted the mansion, but it was being closed off and transformed into a walkway leading to park. Closing off of the street also protects the centuries-old house from pollution and vibration from incoming vehicles. And that is the history of the Aguinaldo Shrine, and I hope you learned something, and thank you for listening.